What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I normally wouldn't do a trailer reaction, but given all of the coverage we've had looking at Captain Marvel in the past week, in fact, another video on Captain Marvel today, it's kind of like Marvel Day, which is why I wanted to cover video games earlier, but I figured let's see how the Avengers Endgame trailer looks, but more importantly, break down what we see and see what the media is saying about it, because I have a feeling they're going to be making it all about Carol Danvers, but we'll have to see. Now, I legitimately have not seen this trailer. I have not been spoiled on it, and so let's take a look. Hopefully, Marvel doesn't hose me.
God, seems like 1,000 years ago. I fought my way out of that cave, became Iron Man.
Right in the feels.
Realized I loved you. I know I said no more surprises, but I was really hoping to pull off one last one.
Oh boy.
The world has changed. None of us can go back.
Is that I think they might be teasing Kate Bishop here, kind of the female Hawkeye. I'm not sure, but I did see Kate Bishop trending this morning, so I'm assuming that's what people are talking about. And I will say, this does wash out a lot of the bad taste that Captain Marvel left in my mouth.
All we can do is our best. And sometimes the best that we can do is to start over.
Yeah.
I saw all these people die. I keep telling everybody they should move on. Some do, but not us.
Even if there's a small chance, we owe this to everyone who's not in this room to try.
We will. Whatever it takes.
Oh yeah.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
So the Russo brothers always bring it, and not only is this trailer like, I'm like weirdly kind of like not like tearing up, but it's like you can feel it, the culmination of so many years invested in this franchise, in these characters, in the end of Infinity War, like I was genuinely sad, and so I myself am looking for some redemption too.
Whatever it takes.
There's
I like this one.
well, at least they captured the signature stone face of Brie Larson, which, and I will admit, she wasn't that bad in Captain Marvel. She's definitely boring at times, but she did have maybe as many as 2 or 3 different expressions in that film. And some of the reaction online, of course, let's jump over to some of the articles I pulled up without actually reading. New Avengers Endgame trailer could be teasing Kate Bishop, the quote other Hawkeye. You know, there are two Spider-Mans. Well, there are also two Hawkeyes. Of course, I mean, we're talking about the multiverse. Most people never really take the time to kind of understand how it works, but really that's why they can just constantly reinvent things and bounce around and do whatever. It's kind of the key to always being able to rewrite history, which a lot of people really enjoy. Avengers Endgame latest trailer holds back on the hints. Captain Marvel makes an appearance, boo, and we have some new shots of our heroes in swanky suits. Other than that, the new glimpse at the end of Phase 3 of the MCU looks a lot like the trailer from the final season of Game of Thrones. If there's new info to glean, what else are trailers for, really? A single shot in the trailer gave us something to dig into. The latest trailer for The Avengers teases a comics established successor to Hawkeye. For a split second in the Endgame trailer, we see Clint Barton teaching a young woman to fire a bow. This could mean a lot of things for the comics world, but it's pretty reminiscent of a specific character, Kate Bishop, aka Hawkeye. Yes, there are two Hawkeyes in the MCU. Most people actually know that. It just took Clint Barton's death. In 2004, Clint died, and in 2007, he was brought back to life. This is, of course, what the MCU does. So we saw some information from there. But then we've also seen how it teases an end for Marvel's original heroes. And I guess, there are a lot of actors who are so iconic in a role that it's hard to imagine anyone else in that role. And that's what makes them great. I think, Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. Hemsworth is Thor. Paul Rudd is Ant-Man. Scarlett Johansson. These people are the characters we've grown to kind of see them as synonymous. Now, I don't think Captain Marvel has earned that yet, but it's hard to say if Paul Rudd was truly Ant-Man after one film, although I felt like he fit the role exceedingly well. But it does tease the end. I mean, how long is Robert Downey Jr. going to play Iron Man? As it arguably should be, the final trailer for Avengers Endgame puts the focus back into a trio of initial Avengers. Okay, sure, many of the Phase 2 and Phase 3 folks have been turned to dust, but the presumption that the 22nd MCU movie will be the final chapter for Tony Stark, Thor Odinson, and Steve Rogers. As such, the trailer, every bit as cryptic as spoiler-free as the first trailer in the Super Bowl commercial, presents from the point of view, complete with those who came in late, of the three heroes whose standalone franchise formed the backbone of the MCU right up to Captain America Civil War. So without speculating too much, one could surmise that the Avengers Endgame will be much the Steve, Tony, Thor story as in part 2 to the MCU series finale. That's actually a smart marketing strategy, since Disney knows they can't necessarily play this is the end of the end card, since A, they did it last time with Infinity War, and B, they already have a halfway decent idea of what movies, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Eternals, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, etc. Beyond that, you would think they'd want to use Endgame to kind of introduce new characters and to spin off, get them ready for their own series. So I would expect to see some of that in the film. Beyond the trailer, which again is presuming will play even better in theaters as it did, essentially exists without necessarily making anyone more or less excited. That's not criticism. Yeah, it's pretty kind of much what you expected. You have 10 major takeaways from it. 1, reflecting on the past. Yes, of course, we don't see Thanos. That is a very good point. I was kind of waiting the entire time. The face Rocket makes, Ant-Man searching for someone, well, his family, right? Hawkeye, Ronin as on an exploding spaceship. Hawkeye, he's always, Jeremy Renner, I actually, by the way, do really enjoy Jeremy Renner in, what is the movie he did where he's he just did a movie, I can't think of the name of it, but it was where he is game warden or a cop on an Indian reservation. I've seen that movie twice, and why I can't think of the name of it right now, it's bothering, but I thought it was really good, worth watching. Jeremy Renner does really good in it, I thought. The white suits don't care. Steve and Tony are together again. It's a small thing. We knew they would reunite in Endgame, but after all that we go through in Infinity War, that's fair to say. And they might be slipping in shots from Endgame of the movie again. We finally get to see some glimpses of what appears to be a big Endgame action sequence where the location is curious. It's totally ravaged landscape. We see Captain America, Nebula, and Rocket War Machine there, and Ant-Man 2, since that's a bit where Tiny and pushing a lever since that bit whereas Tiny and pushing a lever looks aesthetically similar. Can't help but wonder, given the precedent of Infinity War, they literally put Tony Stark mourning Peter Parker in the trailer, if the sequence is from the end of the movie. Captain Marvel shows up really early in the movie, of course, and Kate Bishop, spoilers, of course. And, you know, most of what we see from Vox is leading with Captain Marvel, of course, dust settled from Captain Marvel's grand entrance in the MCU and her, quote, massive box office haul. Look, nowadays, if a Marvel movie doesn't make $1 billion, and that's with a B, I'm considering it a failure, because they've just got so much back current, so much backflow of ticket buyers that it'd be extraordinarily unlikely, in my opinion, for them not to make $1 billion. And Avengers Endgame will be the highest grossing film of all time. I'm certain of that. In a voiceover, Cap says the team has one more shot that they'll never give up, but this Hail Mary turns out to be no one's sure, but the trailer suggests it might involve the remaining Avengers donning spacesuits. Of course, that could also be clever misdirection, plus the Avengers' hairstyles and hair color of the trailer seem to indicate a time jump or two. Yeah, people are kind of making fun of Hawkeye's hair, I saw online, but whatever. I don't really care. Again, in Avengers Endgame trailer, Captain Marvel. So, of course, they're tying Captain Marvel to the Avengers Endgame trailer. The Avengers Endgame trailer came out now on purpose to sell more tickets to Captain Marvel. It's very smart. The trailer dropping today was extraordinarily well played, which will set up a big weekend for Captain Marvel, they hope. I'm guessing it will do well because the reaction to this trailer has been extraordinarily positive. I'm surprised they don't have Captain Marvel out front here, but I'm curious what you think of the trailer. If you're going to sail the high seas, are you going to see it in the theater? Has Brie Larson soured it for you? I mean, it looks good to me. I don't think we're going to see much more about it. So, cautiously optimistic we get some worthwhile conclusion here. But we're going to have to wait and see, I guess. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.